to bring to the mic Mr. Edgar Baker. This gentleman is an impeccable dresser. He's probably the man with the most bow ties on the island. Now, I know him as the person that runs around in the diaper at Christmas time when they have the caroling. But I can tell you, Mr. Baker, he's the chair of the St. Thomas St. John Democratic Party. Mr. Baker, would you please come forward? And thank you for being here.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Before I begin, I'd like to thank each and every one of you here this morning, and those out at the sound of my voice via the media. I'd like to thank you for having the confidence in me to have me run unopposed for a third term as district chair of the Democratic Party. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for having confidence in me. Today, I cannot endorse any candidate due to the position that I hold as district chair. But I encourage each and every one of you who are here this morning in support of Randall Thomas to tell your friends, tell your family members to go and register to vote and support this candidate that you believe in. My fellow Democrats, we are 31,500 votes strong. There's no way in the world that the Democratic Party should be losing an election here in the Virgin Islands. That's approximately 64% of all registered voters. So I'm asking each and every one of you to come out on the primary on August 4th and vote for a Democrat. Exercise your right. Vote for a Democrat moving forward. When we get ready for the general election in November, come out and vote for all the Democratic candidates in making a change for this territory. Democrats winning in November means jobs for the youths, opportunity for college graduates, opportunity for home ownership for all the people of the Virgin Islands. Again, we cannot get this until we come to the polls on August 4th and in November. I just want to make a few announcements this morning and service that the Democratic District provides for all our candidates. We currently have a headquarters which is located at 44 Estate Thomas, and that facility is available to all our Democratic candidates. We have a conference room. We have a phone bank which will be up and running this Friday that each and every one of the candidates upon scheduling can utilize. We have grounds that you candidates can utilize to have fundraisers. That's a service that we are providing for our candidates in support. And for any candidate that don't have a headquarters, you can use our headquarters as a headquarters for you. I also want to make some announcement on some upcoming activities that the district will be providing. First, let me say this. The last day for registering to vote in the primary is July 5th. Please, please save that date. The district committee will host a unity walk on July 21st. That walk will begin from the hospital to Frenchtown and back to the headquarters, which is located at 44 Estate Thomas, just behind the hospital. That walk, we're asking all camps to tell your supporters to wear their t-shirts and walk and show unity among the Democratic Party. On July 28th, as we promised, just before the primary, we will have what is called a unity dinner dance, which will be held at the UBI Sport and Fitness Center. We will share support for all our Democratic candidates moving forward in the primary. Save that date. Again, I'd like to say to each and every one of you who are here this morning in support of Randolph Thomas, we, the district, support Randolph Thomas moving forward. I want you to come out and vote for Randolph on August 4th and give him the support as a Democratic candidate moving forward. I'd like to thank you for the time. Randolph, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that Mr. Baker is always very gracious. Thank you again, Mr. Baker. There are a couple of persons here today. I just want to say, give them a quick shout out. There's a young lady in our midst who's here all the way from Houston, Texas, Miss Elvira DeBato. Thank you for being here. She came all the way from Houston, Texas. I came all the way from Puerto Rico. I see Mr. Michael Martin is here. Thank you for being here, Mr. Martin. Oh, now he's acting shy and blushing. I'd also like to say good morning and thank you to Mr. Patrick Macedon for being here as well. I'd also like to say thank you to Mr. George, my good friend, for being here. And to everyone under the sound of my voice, thank you for coming out. I know it was challenging. I also want to say a special good morning and welcome to Randolph's mom. Thank you for being here. This is my first time meeting you. You're a wonderful young man. You're a very wonderful young man. If you decide that Randolph Thomas #2 on your ballot is the person you want to represent you in the Senate, be your voice, I promise that you will always know where he stands on the issues, as his doors will always be open. Randolph has the compassion and hope that so many of us are losing sight of, and he is ready to make a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, today is a new day. It's time to make a difference, and it starts with your vote. Moving right along, at this time, I would like to, well, I think we're going to have a musical selection. Randolph and Janelle's gifted son is here, Malachi, and he's going to give us a musical selection. Thank you.
So, I spoke once and I'll speak again. And I wanted to take this opportunity to also speak with our more human language to characterize my father. So my characterization of the man that raised me is, he's a free listener, he's a free thinker that listens. He's a free thinker that listens. And I want to share why I feel that this characterization is so important for our leaders today. A couple of weeks ago, I went to a town hall at high school, and there were some officials who organized it to share plans for CHS field and Cancrine modulars being placed there. And what I saw, what I witnessed that night, were the people who were tasked with representing us, with defending us, tasked with fighting on our behalf. I saw our leaders seeming like helpless puppies. I didn't see free thinkers, and I didn't see listeners. I didn't see listeners because the community was not involved in the decision-making process for where the modulars would be placed or where Cancrine would be temporarily placed. Not even were they listening before the decision was made, but after the backlash and the unhappiness with the people who this decision affects, I continue to see people who refuse to listen. So much so that it appeared to me that us in the audience, the people, were being perceived as not endowed with enough intelligence to participate in the decision-making process. I didn't see free thinkers. I saw people who, instead of being creative and pushing back against federal officials, they just bowed down to them. Every response to every idea that was brought up was FEMA, FEMA this, FEMA that. And I saw leaders in position who decided not to utilize their God-given powers of free thought and just bow down to the powers that be to make a decision that wasn't beneficial for the majority of the people involved. And I said, wow. My father, the free thinker who listens, is exactly what the Virgin Islands need today. And I wanted to share that. Because I think, apart from technical policy and exactly what are you going to do with this and what are you going to do about this and that, apart from the specific technical plan of how this place is going to be run, I think the most important thing is the spirit to listen and the spirit to think freely and creatively. Because then I know that no matter what problem, what obstacle, be it natural or man-made, that any problem will be solved. Because you have a free thinker who listens. Thank you, that's all I want to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Malachi. Wow, my goodness. You are really your father's son. Believe me when I tell you. After what you just said, let's keep it in the family. Let's just keep it in the family. At this time, I'm going to call in Janelle to come and bring a few words. Mrs. Janelle Thomas, the lovely Mrs. Janelle.
very biased indeed, she is. But I love her. She's a great organizer, and we are so thankful that she has joined with Randolph. I tell you, Lydia is excellent. If you have something to organize, Lydia Griffith is the one to call. Trust me. So I want to say good morning to everyone and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us here today in supporting Randolph's bid for the 33rd Legislature of the Virgin Islands. I do not plan on voting for Randolph because we've been married for over 32 years and have 4 of the most wonderful children in the world and a most adorable grandson. Yes, I'm a glam me. I'm a glam mom. Yes, and so I will vote for Randolph because I know he will serve well. And this is based on the interactions that I've seen him have over the years as he worked. He worked at the legislature, he worked at education, but mainly education. I am an educator in the public schools, and we had 2 programs that made my life as a school counselor extremely wonderful in terms of record keeping. And it was SASE and Power School. Power School is an amazing instrument. These are student information systems. The first one was SASE, and Randolph was the thinker, as our son Malachi said. He was the shaker and mover behind SASE, and then it was upgraded to Power School. So these are the type of creative thinking and creative solutions that the Virgin Islands need at this time. It cannot be, you know, as usual. So I am voting for him, not because he's family, he's my husband, but because I really think, and another thing is, I would have Randolph on the phone with the consultants, and trust me, we have had many consultants come, you know, they do workshops, etc. And to me, we, the participants in the workshops, were the ones doing the work, and they were really had to enjoy our stand. But Randolph had these people like, you are here to work, you're getting a lot of money, and you're going to work. That's how I would hear him speaking with them on the phone after hours, before work, after work, and I would be like, I like that, because I know I've been in so many conferences and workshops where we're the ones that are doing the work. They just gather our information and then they come up with the solutions that we gave them. But I tell you, and it's the honest truth, true story, Randolph would be on the phone with them and they would be going at it tooth and nails. And I think that's what we need right now in the Legislative Hall on my left. Okay? We need to have, and I know when the different departments go before the Senate, when Randolph is elected, they will be asked serious questions. They will not be asked, how do you rate yourself? No, those are not questions that senators need to ask people who are before them. He will ask, how is your department being run? And he will seriously, Malachi said it, he's a free thinker, and you have to come prepared with your stats because he is a statistician by training, and that's what we need. It's all about data. Data is important because that is how important decisions are made. But I want to tell you more why I'm voting for Randolph is, and I'm going to take a quote from a book that I read, and I encourage everyone to read this book. It's written by John Gordon, and it's called The Energy Boss. So to explain why you should join me in voting for Randolph Thomas, number 2 on the ballot, here's the quote. It says, a man goes to the village to visit the wise man. And he says to the wise man, I feel like there are 2 dogs inside me. One dog is a positive, loving, kind, and gentle dog, and the other dog I have is angry, mean-spirited, and a negative dog, and they fight all the time. And he says to the wise man, I do not know which is going to win. The wise man thinks for a moment, and then he says, I know which is going to win. The one you feed the most. So feed the positive dog. End of quote. But I want to substitute dog for spirit. Randolph feels we have been feeding the negative spirit for too long, and he wishes to use his knowledge in project management, statistics, grant writing, networking with partners, his appreciation for the Virgin Islands and its residents, and he wants to begin feeding the positive spirit of the people that we all can become better together, all of us. Amen? Well, I'm not in church. If it means, so be it. Okay? We will all win as we feed the positive spirit with Randall's methodical thinking, his ideas for moving the island forward, and not as usual. You know, not the usual yeah, but. For Randall, it's yeah, let's get it done. We can do this. The one we feed the most is the one who will win. So let's feed into leaders like Randolph who are serious about economic security, the retirement system, small business development, e-commerce, public safety, and better representation for all residents. Randolph needs you to become fully engaged in feeding the positive spirit that has become dormant in our community for too long. So let us get on the energy bus of better together for positive change for all residents. It is time for us to stop feeding the negative spirit of not voting because we are tired and fed up of the same old. And Mr. Baker was here encouraging every resident to register and go out and vote. So let us nourish the spirit of these islands by engaging Randolph as he moves forward in his efforts to help us pull ourselves out of the slump that we have been in for too long. What we feed will win. So let us feed number 2 on the ballot, for we are truly better together. Thank you so much for giving Randolph your support, prayers, love, and encouragement. Number 2 on your ballot, better together. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Janelle. That was really powerful. Thank you. At this time, I would like to call Attorney Vincent Frazier to the mic. Bring a few words.
Thank you. My name is Vincent Fraser. Good morning, I'm sorry. Good morning to everyone. My name is Vincent Fraser. I'm an attorney here in St. Thomas. And just as a reminder, I have served 8 years as the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands. And that's where I met Randolph. I knew him way back during years in high school, but I got to know him during the administration of DeYoung and Francis, while Randolph worked on a very important project at the Department of Education, the VIVIS project, which was a very important and visionary project that would run very far into the future. And it took a person of Randolph's tenacity to make that project work, because it took a concept that was very vague and tried to bring it down into concrete terms, not only so that he can present it to the governor and to the legislature and Department of Education, but to be able to bring people together to be willing to work on a project and to take an idea and bring it out to concrete terms. And that project had the potential to address many of our problems, because it's a project that touched the lives of every Virgin Islander. Once they were born, it continued with them until their years of retirement. And I think to the extent that that project has been abandoned, we have lost a great opportunity to set the Virgin Islands in order for the future. But I come this morning to speak on Randolph's behalf, because during the time that I got to know Randolph, I realized that he had certain qualities that are needed in the Virgin Islands legislature at this time. Yeah. Among those qualities is one, strength. He was a person who a lot of times people have difficulty in engaging with Randolph, because he's a person of strength in his opinions and his thoughts. And that's a good thing. Not that he becomes so stubborn and willing to change. But if you're going to get him to change, you better come good, with logic and what makes sense. And so he has strength that is very much needed in our legislature today. That strength is also needed to resist the urge to act on selfish opportunities. Unfortunately, we have many people who serve in the legislature, and they get there and they find that the administration may offer them opportunities for themselves and their families, and they take those opportunities, and as a result, they become ineffective because they've compromised for their own selfish gain. But I think that Randolph is a person who has the strength to resist that urge. I also believe that he has the tenacity to keep going at things that he believes are important until it happens. And we need one that not give up because of that. I believe also Randolph demonstrates a person of great courage. And we need people with great courage in the legislature. We need courage from the St. Thomas district, because we've seen a trend in the past legislatures that seem to move in a way to undermine the standard of living and lifestyle that we lived in St. Thomas for the benefit of our sister island of St. Croix. Now, we don't want to set up partisan politics, but the fact of the matter is that we had those who have come before us built a strong economy in the Virgin Islands by making sure certain things were established and maintained in St. Thomas. We have seen a trend to shift things towards St. Croix, and not to do so only for the benefit of St. Croix, but to undermine St. Thomas. And we need someone with courage from this district to stand up and speak truth to power and let it know that, wait a minute, we have to balance what we present for the good of all Virgin Islanders, not just for one district. I really think that Randolph demonstrates that courage in addressing those issues. We also need persons with wisdom, wisdom that is far-reaching, and I believe that his work on the Vivis program presents an opportunity and show experience that he has wisdom in taking broad concepts, intangible concepts, and bringing them to where they mean the meaningful use for the people in their daily lives. And he has shown one of the most important parts of the Vivis program was it was completely based on data. And from that experience, Randolph always stressed the importance of being a data-driven community. We make a lot of decisions in the Virgin Islands on anecdotal information because somebody says so. Some people think so, and that's how we make policy. But we need to become a place where we make policy based upon data, hard facts. And I've seen that he is that kind of a person who will look for the numbers and continue to ask you, present the numbers if we're going to build policy. And I think that he brings that wisdom, to the legislature. And then fourthly, I believe it is important that we have a senator who has the ability and a willingness to work with the other Democratic senators. And I say the other Democratic senators because he's running as a Democrat, and I hope that that means that he has commitment from the other Democrats that if they're elected, they will continue to work as a team. Because no one person can go in the legislature and accomplish what needs to be done. It takes 8 votes to get anything passed in the legislature. And if you've been in the legislature, as there are some who have been there for years, and they don't have one piece of legislation with their name on it. Why? Because they could not build a consensus. They could not build get 7 other people to join with them to pass legislation. So they've wasted all the time that they've been there, but somehow because of their popularity, they continue to be elected time and time again. Well, I think that time has changed, and I hope that the Democrats will work with Randolph, and he can work with them, that they will bring change to the Virgin Islands, because we're in a time now where it's no longer same old, okay? We are now facing the forces of nature in rebuilding the Virgin Islands. And we don't have time to elect people simply because they're popular. And we need to elect people who will roll up their sleeves, do the hard work, and push back. So I encourage for everyone to vote for number 2, Randolph Thomas on the ballot, and we're going to be hopeful that we'll have the unity that's necessary, and that I trust and pray that Randolph will be successful in the primary upcoming. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, for the moment you have been waiting for, yes, you heard 1 or 2 words from him earlier, but Randolph has an inspiring, motivating, encouraging word this morning. Please, by round of applause, please give Randolph your attention and a warm greeting as he comes to the mic.
Good morning, people. I'm truly appreciative of your presence here. I'm truly appreciative. And I don't know, somehow God has given me this special knack for thankfulness and appreciation. And it's amazing because as I welcome you here, and as my son and my wife gave that wonderful, wonderful description of how they think of me, I think to myself, oh my God, listen, I'm really doing this for the people because I'm truly satisfied, because I love my wife, I love my family, I love my grandson, and I'm in perfect, I'm in a perfect place, I'm in heaven with my family. Now, my beloved and very special mother is here, and I would like to acknowledge her. So my name is Randolph Thomas. People from the village know me as Brighty, and some people from Smith Bay and Hospital Ground know me as Brighty. I used to sing Calypso at CVI, aging myself. That's right. I think I was pretty decent then too. I thank you again. Listen, you know, it's amazing, man. You know, one must have faith. Really, life is about faith. Really, everything is about faith. So, I'm here not to present to you how special Randolph Thomas is, but I'm here to ask you to let me be the point of the spear. Okay? So I'm asking you I will be the point of the spear, and you can be the head of the spear, and you can be the shaft of the spear. So I'll be the one taking all the blows and the brunt, But guess what? I'm not doing this alone. So when I think about this me trying to be elected to the Senate, it's not for me to be senator. The senator thing is just a name. It's for me to be used by you. I'm asking you that you and I partner together so that we can make a change in this territory. So I'm asking for a partnership. So the concept is that I'm the tip of the spear. So the Lord said to Joshua, point the spear in the direction of the territory that you want to overcome. So that's the kind of spear. And Joshua was obedient and did that. So let us point our spear together to make these islands a much better place for all of us to live. So I'm saying to you, I'm not saying that I'm the spear. I'm only asking to be the tip. So I'm asking you to go on a journey with you. Believe me, you can elect a man senator as you have done over and over and over again, and he go up on his own, and his selfish and insecure nature and the fear in him cause him to serve himself. Now, listen, I'm truly proud. My mother taught me to have respect for people's property, and she also taught me a sacrificial love that is based in just doing what you need to do for the people who you love. My grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather taught me love for the world, love for all human beings. You know, I see so many people come through their home burdened and left empowered. So where did that come from? It came from the knowledge that I want to bring to all our people. Listen, the Lord has said to us, if you recognize me, I give you dominion over the earth. I establish you in power and in glory. So then there is nothing that you can desire that you can achieve. So what does it take to go there? You have to believe, and now you have to partner together with your neighbors. So when we act on our own behalf, we acting selfishly. But when we act on the behalf of our friends and our neighbors and our family and our community, that's a righteous act. Righteous action. So basically, I'm asking you to engage with me for righteous action on behalf of all the people. Listen, we have lots of sick people in our territory. We have the mentally ill. Our elderly are practically ignored. Our young people are in trouble. Listen, I'm not telling you that I can make those changes by myself. But what I'm saying to you is that you, the people of these islands, must remember who you are. And only when you remember who you are, then there's going to be real change. Because I'm not going to go in there and do this all by myself. I'm doing it with you. And guess what? When I'm doing it with you, you know that I can't abandon you. When I'm doing it with you, there is no abandonment of you. So people will say to me, Randolph, I hope when you go in there, that you don't forget me. But how am I going to forget you when you're going to be right there with me? Yes. When everything I do is going to be because you want it done, and because you helped me to do it. So it's a very simple thing. I tell you, the legacy of my family is to serve people. And guess what? I have discovered, I am really blessed to know that there is great joy in service. So there's some things that we need to see. Bob Marley have a song called Rise. He said, rise from your sleepless slumber. He says, flee from hate, mischief, and jealousy. Don't bury your thoughts. Put your vision to reality. Oh my God, that's really deep. He says, flee from hate, mischief, and jealousy. Don't bury your thoughts. Put your vision to reality. So, what prevents your vision from coming to reality? What prevents your vision from coming to reality? Because you don't help your neighbor, you don't help your friend, you don't look out for the people around you. And listen, as I said, our Senate will not change unless the people change. So my message to the people is a message of change. And I'm saying that I'm willing to partner with you. I'm willing to be the tip of the spear in that endeavor. In that endeavor. Because we're in a great need today. I think this is the worst these islands have been in the past 20 years. So I'm going to challenge you. So if your life is a mess, right? Who's responsible? If your house is a mess, who make it a mess? If your community is a mess, who make it a mess? If your village, your island is a mess, who make it a mess? So obviously it's a mess, right? And so I'm looking for Lydia. I think you should clean the mess, not me. The mess is your fault and your responsibility. I and you live in the mess, but only I should do it. We have to abandon that concept because it's all our responsibility. So it's your mess, so you must clean it. And I'm saying to you, so the Lord has said to me, Randolph, you have walked a certain walk, a walk of struggle, a walk of mistake, a walk of success, and I've put certain wisdom in you. I want you to help my people. I want you to make a difference. And so this is what this is about. This is what it's about. So I'm not telling you I'm going to clean the mess. I'm telling you, I'm willing to work with you. I'm willing to be the tip of the spear, to take a lot of blows, to have my guts spoon out on the floor, for people to talk about all my mistakes, and where I'm from and all the rest of this, and ignore my abilities and my commitment to them. Why? Because of evil impulses. What did Bob Marley say again? Flee from hate, mischief, and jealousy. So we have to speak to ourselves. So, really people, the change that we desire in our government begins with us. We gotta stop being selfish. Okay? So if we ain't change our government, we ain't gonna change. So I'm telling you, listen, I'm going to tell you that I'm facing north and you facing south, or maybe I'm standing in some poop. I need to go and wash my feet. But at least I will tell you that you'll know that's the case. We have to accept the truth. Listen, we run away from the truth. We do all kind of sliding, we lean over, we turn backwards because we run away from the truth. God has not given us that spirit. God has given us a spirit of courage. He said, listen, I give you dominion. So why are we afraid to say, listen, this is not right. Listen, this is how it is. Listen, I am hurting. Listen, I am hurting. I need some help. So listen, if you pretend that you're one thing when you're next, how are you going to adjust what the situation is? And the situation here is in this country is that the people need to change. They need to stop being selfish. They need to stop looking out for themselves. And when the people stop looking out for themselves, the senators will stop looking out for themselves. The people elect the kind of senators. So listen. So you know, when you elect me, you're going to know that you're moving forward. You're becoming a better person, a more enlightened person, a more kind person. Because that's just how it is. As Attorney General Fraser said, a man might say that I slapped them with the truth, and they might be offended, but he certainly will not say that I kissed him with a lie. And I much prefer to slap him with the truth than to kiss him with a lie. Yeah. Because I believe in time. Suddenly my conscience is clear, and I can walk the street without fear. And believe me, people wonder about how I can be so joyous. Because I have faith in God. And so I want you to follow that. To have faith in that, to know that when the Lord rests you on this earth, He rests you here in power and glory, and you must understand and you must embrace that. Now, my wife did an amazing job of explaining some of the things I have done. Also, Attorney General and other people. I want your support. I want to partner with you. Partnering with me is partnering with yourself. Let's clean up the community. Let's make it better. I'm number 2 on the ballot. I'm running as a Democrat. So let me tell you what my most important piece of legislation I believe. I have amazing thing. I certainly believe that this community, in regards to the operations now, Not in regards to what keeps it back, but in regards to the operation, it's two things. The economy is too small. If you have 30-something%, right, of your workforce employed by the public sector, then you have a formula for failure. So we need to grow our private sector. We need to re-establish the EDC companies. Okay, we need to. The other thing is we must improve our government. We must root out corruption from our government, and we must make it more efficient. And I think that is the start. So what do I believe is one infrastructural way to do that? So I propose that we go to districting. We elect our senators by district. By district. So basically, so if there is a senator in a district who's not performing well, the person who points out his shortcomings and points out his great performance capability will not lose, because he knows who he's running against. He's not running against 7 people. So every 2 years, our people say, listen, we're going to remove all of them. But it never happens. Why doesn't it happen when our people are so dissatisfied? Because of the infrastructure of how we elect our senators. We certainly don't know who representing us. We are not happy with the representation. We need to change the way we represent them so we can hold them accountable. Now, I really believe that you've heard a lot here. I think you've heard a lot about who Thomas is and what he wants to do, where we're headed. The only thing that is left for you to do now is to go out and tell the world, listen, we want Randolph Thomas. We want a partnership with him. We want him to be the tip of our spear. And vote number 2 on August 4th, number 2 on the ballot. And listen, if you're not registered Democrat and you support Randolph Thomas, go and register Democrat. Because you can't support him, you can't get him in the legislature if he doesn't come out of the primary. Of course, the Lord has already said to me, I'm coming out of the primary. But that is with your assistance. That is with your help. And then another thing, August 4th, August Monday is a very popular holiday for Caribbean people. They like to go on vacation. So if you know you're going on vacation, vote early. Listen, don't make Randolph Thomas miss a vote because you got on vacation and you forget to vote. We got to be wise now. We got to be wise. So as the man said, listen, if you want to achieve a thing, you have to focus on it. So the rain was a big thing today. Listen, but the rain ain't that more spiritual, you know. You know why? Because the system in which we believe, the word in which we believe, is what Bob Marley said. We focus on our desire, we focus on our vision, and not on the obstacles before us. Because he gave us the intellect, and he gives us the guidance to solve the obstacles. So as long as you don't tie yourself up with the obstacles, and you focus on the vision, then you will have a solution. You're stressing yourself, worrying about obstacles when the fix is there. Listen, Elvira, listen, there's this problem. What do you think about it? What do you think about it? That's what my son talk about, listening. Listen, I speak to everyone. Yeah. Believe me, I'm informed by the man that people pass by. And he expands my knowledge. So it's about embracing people. It's about embracing people. God says, listen, all of the laws and all of the prophet is based on 2 things. Say, love you, Lord thy God, with all thy heart and all thy strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. And if you don't understand how to do that, I could explain to you one of these days. And I would love to. I would love for us to have a conversation. But if we do that, we have a victory. We have a victory. Say we can move mountains. You have dominion. And the obstacles are going to come, so don't get all excited about them. And embrace your neighbor. Listen, my grandmother, if she had, listen, I've seen my grandmother, which is the heritage which I have, and my mother will tell you, why you always giving away your thing them? It's true, my mother tells me that all the time. She's much more frugal than I am. I wish I had learned her frugality, because I want to acknowledge my mother for what she has accomplished. Come in here in a desperate and difficult way. You understand what I'm saying to you? And it's the same overcoming from the place that we are here now in that I expect for our people. But we must have faith, we must believe. Vote number 2 on the ballot. And thank you very much for being here today, all of you. I can see thousands of people out there in my voice. This is a movement. This is a movement. This is a movement. Because I'm just a spear. I'm partnering with you. I'm partnering with you to improve the economy, to improve education, to improve the health system, to improve anything. And I thank you very much. I thank you all for being here. I thank you for your love. I wanted to cry when my son played just now, but I had to hold it up. And all the people, listen, there's a gentleman here today, really, that I'm not going to name him, but his presence here, listen, it's amazing, you know. 10 people could be more important than 10,000 people sometimes, you know. Listen, I tell you, I'm not down-spirited by that the rain caused me to have a small group here today. Listen, I'm encouraged by it. You understand? Because what an obstacle to make you better and stronger, and more wise. So my friend who is here today, man, I thank you for your courage. That's a demonstration of the courage I'm talking about. And I want you to keep on with that courage. Because once you have that courage, and your courage is based on faith, they can't stop you. Listen, we don't have to be pushing up ourselves now. No, we have to be who we are. Okay? Because if we ain't who we are, how are we going to improve to be where we want to be? If you deny where you are and who you are, how are you going to be where you want to be? You can't be no place. I think that's enough. Oh, I'm good.
Thank you. Now, if you're not inspired by that message or those words, I don't know what it's going to take. At this time, I would like to just give a couple of shout-outs to Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. We had the phone late last night, and she was ready at 6 this morning. We also want to say to Georgette, thank you for being here. Marlene, I didn't get a connection. I didn't know, but I know now. Thank you for being here. And Albert, thank you for being here as well. And to, I understand your nephew Eon is here as well. Oh, he's back there doing, okay. I understand he's an up-and-coming businessman as well. At this time, I'd like Pastor Dennis Edridge to come forward, please, and bring a few words. Pastor Edridge is from St. John Pentecostal. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Good morning. Good morning. It is good to be here in support of Randall, and I'm asking you to remember him when you go to the poll, not just at home, and you make your decision in giving him the opportunity to be a part of the legislature. It is not just what we say, but in the past, Randolph had proven himself to be a strong leader. Yes. Working with education, and sometimes you make decisions that those that are in the upper bracket, as we would say, do not like. You could be in for some trouble. But we are grateful that God has given him the strength, the opportunity, and we are asking you to remember him when you go to the polls. And if I'm not mistaken, you're number 2? Yeah. Vote number 2 in the primary and help him to go on to the general election and on to the legislature. Thank you. God bless you.
And before I take my seat, I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve as the Mistress of Ceremonies this morning. And Randall, this is for you. You spoke about once you get in, you don't want persons to come and say, oh, you forgot about me on the side of the road or whatever. I have something for you. And this is for your office. I already ordered it. It says to the wall, and it goes like this. So when your constituents come into your office, this is what they would see. I am a success today because I had a friend who believed in me, and I didn't have the heart to let him down. So we know you're going to be working really hard with that message. I wish I could take, the credit for that. That was Abraham Lincoln. But that's okay. That's okay. You're going to still put it up on your wall. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about done. But the same way how we ushered in the presence of the Lord, we are going to, he's still here with us. I have Apostle Gladstone Hazel, who's going to bring the benediction.
Praise God. We had a wonderful morning. Just before I pray, I want to encourage all the people in St. Thomas and St. John to give a vote to our upcoming senator and number 2 on your ballot. I was well impressed with even the decision making you did this morning to say, well, the rain is falling. That's right. Well, you said, let's have it. It shows the type of person you are who thinks. Yes. And I know you might not be having maybe hundreds of people here, but just by doing this, showed me that you have the ability to make decisions under difficult circumstances. Right. One thing I'm seeing, the power of family. Many people can't even run their own family, they want to run a government. The fact that your wife is here, your son, your mom, sisters and brothers, is a very good start. How do you want to run a government? You don't have any wife, you don't have any children, you never run a coffee shop, nor a candy store. But this brother is not just coming like some people, never did anything, they just want popularity. He has been effective in the community, as you heard, in education, also in the legislature before, and he has done something that was very pivotal in helping our education to move forward. And that means electing him will continue the work that he has begun. So he's not coming to do something, he has already done things, and he's going to continue the work of service to this community. So you don't have to scratch your head to find, why should I vote for Mr. Thomas? You know that he is a man who gets things done. So I encourage all my friends, all our pastors, members of different churches, youngsters who want to see their education improve, tell your mommy, tell your dad, this is the man to vote for. And lastly, one of the very first things coming here today was the idea of legacy. I preach about legacy all the time. And they spoke about his grandfather, Mr. Shelford, and they spoke about the service going down to the generation. So he has observed people who serve, service is in his bloodline. He has emulated those who serve, and he has walked right into the footsteps of a whole legacy of people who serve this community. So if you know his grandfather and father and so on, you'll know that they contributed, and he's a product of these people. Well, since I was put here to pray, I'm going to pray. Here we go. Father, we thank you for today.
Yes, amen.
And as this young man selfishly wants to step under the arena to lead in this community, we pray for the wisdom.
Yes.
For when Solomon was asked what he needed, he declared, I need wisdom. I pray today that the wisdom of God will increase upon his life, that his ability to love humanity and to serve others will continue and go stronger and greater. The ability to help the poor, those in need, and to be a visionary will continue to excel. I pray, Lord God, that he would not give up in tough times. He'd be able to hear from you and increase his prayer life, that he would not govern based upon hearsay, but will be governing from the heart. As your heart touch his heart, he'll be able to meet the plight of the poor, the plight of those who are running the streets who are homeless, for those who run the street with psychological problems, that the most needy in our community will be touched because you have taken this stand. And I pray that as he excels, let him not forget from the humble plateau that he has excelled. Don't forget the persons here today who are pushing off on the seas to the heights and to rise in this community. I pray, Lord God, that he'll ever remain humble. He'll ever remain teachable. He'll ever remain touchable. In every area of his life, as he moves and excels, he will never forget those family members that surround him. But they will always be there for him, and he'll always be there for them. So today, thank you for all those who put this great meeting together. Thank you for all the support, those who came from far and near, taking them back to their various destinations. And as you're about to leave to go back to our various activities today, we pray for your divine protection. Thank you for the finances necessary to go forward, for the people necessary to canvass, for those necessary to make this possible. And lastly, Lord God, I pray for your divine favor will go before him, opening doors, making ways where there is no way, and make this campaign a very productive and easy one. In Jesus' name, and everybody says, amen.